In Nigeria, a recent report by AXA Mansard Insurance Mind Health Report found 44% of young adults suffer from mental health conditions. That's quite interesting. You're welcome to another episode of Divide Podcast, and today we're delving into a very important issue, something that everybody can sort of relate to. I think in the time that we live in, we are living in what we would call like a pressure cooker. There is something for everybody to think about. There's something for everybody to hold themselves harshly about. There's something for everybody to judge themselves unfairly about. Like, it's difficult to just be fine. And I think it's worse now because like there's still obviously so much activity. Activity that's like waking up every day, getting to work, getting things done that makes it seem like everybody's okay. But in truth, we know everybody's not okay. Actually, in Lagos, many people are not okay. But yeah, you're welcome to another episode of Divide Podcast. My name is Orolo Ashrinbar and I remain your host. For instance, over the past couple of weeks, I've been beating myself up for the fact that I've not dropped my second episode for last month. But last month was a lot. Last month was a lot. Remember, so typically I would record some episodes really late and then just post it before the next month. I remember just standing in front of the clock and just looking at the time and watching the day just cross into the new month. And I was telling myself happy new month. Like immediately after I went up the month, I look at myself and I said happy new month. And that's because I was stressed. The past 3 weeks have been a lot of work. We're getting to the peak period of my work, and that is basically taking it all. But one short thing that I had to do was I had to tell myself that I needed help. I needed somebody to work with me. Over the past 3 years, I've been solo planning and recording podcast episodes, and it's been going really well. We've done really good in terms of numbers, consistency, over 10,000 listens, over 800 subscribers, really good. And I'm very impressed by the outputs and the work, but I need help. But yeah, and thank God the help has come my way. So yes, about what we're talking about in this episode. The truth is, I think this is one of the worst times to be a young adult. There's so many things working against the average young adult in this time and age that you have to work like 5 times harder to get half the results that people used to get previously. And now we live in a time where every 5 years technological advancement changes something fundamentally. So there's a lot of anxiety. Like at the back of people's heads, they're thinking, oh my God, can I do this? Can I do that? Would I be fine? Would I be okay? What do I need to learn? People are evolving at such a high speed. And something I learned recently is, regardless of how fast things get done, there will always be a cost. Regardless of how high productivity in quotes and environments can be, there will always be a cost. And many times, it's the mental health. Over the past 2 weeks, we've had to deliver on like 5 major events, and it took a toll on me physically. Like I look so tired, and obviously I that is the cost, but it is what it is in quotes. But it's a lot of work. I remember finally having the opportunity to attend. So I love attending events. I genuinely like attending events and seeing people that I have grown with, people in my community, people that I've looked up to, just connecting with people generally. But over the past 2 months, I've missed so many events that I've been genuinely sad about it. There was one event I missed recently that was because I really wanted to attend. It was CXCon by Cowrywise. And I was told about the event the day after, and I was just like, how did I forget? And then Piggy Fest event, I attended maybe like the last 2 hours of the event. And then Moonshot, I attended on the last day. We handled the merch for all those events, but just the sheer amount of work meant that something would give. But it was necessary work, and that's typically what we tell ourselves actually is necessary. We're just going through it. But in truth, we have to find a way. And I'm speaking a bit about it personally from an exhaustion standpoint, like being tired from doing many things. There's the more clinical, actual mental health condition that is so important for people to clinically diagnose and clinically treat. But there's just the intentionality that we need to give towards like our well-being. I remember listening to somebody talk on Instagram, and the person was talking about how a lot of the people that we call influencers now are people that went to extreme lengths to achieve success. And after they've achieved success, they've now taken their extreme values and standards of work and told people to walk at that pace because that's the standard. Ben spoke about Gary Vee, spoke about even Kobe Bryant, spoke about some people that are in the top 1%. And even though the top 1% is ridiculously difficult to get into, but it takes a particular amount of effort for you to get into the top 1%. And that effort does not leave you unscathed. Like, it will cost something. So, a lot of times, when you hear somebody that is successful and he says, oh, you need to sleep 4 hours a day, you need to jog for 24 hours in a week, and just tell you so many standards, the truth is, the lifestyle that they live might not be the lifestyle that you want for yourself, even though the results might be similar. And it's important to just look out for yourself, because the truth is we are not all built to do the same type of work. Our minds are not all built to do the same type of, to work in the same type of conditions. And it's very important to know what conditions work for you. Like some people, my pastor will always say that some people should not be on social media. And it's not because, they are weak people. It's just that they can get very, very anxious from all the information they are consuming, and that information overload is not good for them, even clinically. So there is so much assessment that is going on in this time and age because of social media, and that whole, for instance, LinkedIn, the land of milestones. LinkedIn is that place where everybody shares a milestone. And now, even though the milestone that is being shared is the peak of someone's journey at a point in time, people compare themselves to peaks as though the average life of somebody on a day-to-day is peaks, made of peaks. But it's not made of peaks. If you gather 2,000 people, it's likely that everybody has a win every day. It's like somebody has a win every day, because you're gathering 1,000 people and everybody's not having a win every day. It's just that out of the pool of people, there are more wins every week. And now you think that you're not getting any wins because you're not having a win every week. And you get yourself into a particular funk that might not be good for you. So, key points from this episode. One, if you look at your life through the lens of what you don't have, it's a disservice to you. And it will lead to unnecessary comparison. The truth is, if your life is always half empty, you would mold yourself into a unhappy person. And it's very important to catch yourself while you can, because you are in a generation that thrives off announcing moves. announcing the peaks while hiding the pitfalls or the valleys. And that is not reality. That is a narrative. That is a production. That is not the life people are living. So, you internet 101, like what you see on the internet is not everybody's life. And this is not even to say that what they are posting is fake. It's just that that's not the entirety of their lives. Very important. Very important. And you see, comparison with others should always be taken with a pinch of salt. That's the real truth. Like I've said this before on Divide, you have the most context of your life. And context is everything. Context is everything. Imagine trying to compete with someone that you don't understand the person's leverage or you don't understand the person's journey. Like let's use Bible examples for instance. Imagine David thinking to himself that how I wish I was Solomon. Do you get that God just told me, oh, you become king, and I became king? Why am I going through all this suffering instead of me to just be king? Like I've been anointed, let me just be king. And because of that, he pushes himself into a point of sadness because he is not having the journey of Solomon. Imagine Joseph comparing his journey to that of David and saying, oh my God, people are lying against me. People are doing this. They sold me. They sold me. What kind of life is it? They sold me. You see, the real problem of comparison is that it takes you out of the context of your own journey. And that's one reason why I always tell people, you have to always remember your context. Because you work from your context. Your context is your life, and you can be inspired by the journeys of other people, but you should never take yourself out of your context because it's very difficult to be fair to yourself when you take yourself out of your context. Like David teaches that comparison can disqualify you before you begin. Like imagine he had compared himself to his brothers. You get the people that were trained, or say like, I don't know how to use a sword. And as he was about to face Goliath, he was focusing on not being able to use a sword. Obviously, he won't have enough confidence to use the tools that he has trained himself in to achieve the things that he could achieve. Does that make sense? So you have to be honest, focus on your unique path. And social media doesn't really do that. You get it doesn't really do that. And that's why you have to train your mind. You have to be careful. Because the truth is, our environment as a generation means we will have common issues. And this is why it's so important to not take yourself out of your context. Like, think about Joseph. Joseph could have been bitter. Just think about that. Imagine he held on to his dream. This dream, the Lord said, I will do this. And all through that part where he could have been doing other things, interpreting dreams, helping people, doing all that led him to where he eventually got to, he was just being bitter. We have to bring ourselves out of the funk. It's so essential, it's so important. It's so important. And when you are very much aware that the context of your life is unique, then you will have no fear of missing out. Even when others are doing something similar or doing something different. Because the fear of missing out it makes you less intuitive. It makes you less unique. It makes you more generic. Because like you focus on what other people are doing and then you feel like you're missing out. When in truth your path is different. And the truth is your path will compound. Like it will keep compounding. And there are things that I couldn't do 3 years ago that I can do now. But if I had not stayed on the path that I was on, I would not be able to get to where I am now. And this is not just saying that, just continue the path you're going. This is just about focusing on your own journey. Not necessarily on every other thing that is happening all around you. And the truth is, fear is a terrible thing. Fear is really terrible. Fear is really terrible. And obviously, this is something that has always happened. Like the use of fear to get you to do something that you shouldn't be doing is so common. Like, let's refer to Eve. Eve's FOMO in the garden. I say like God knows that if you eat this fruit, your eyes will be open and you will be like God. And she was like, I'll miss out on being like God when she was already like God. She had access to God, she had a relationship with God, but you will miss out on the real true, which was a lie. And then we are here when Iro and Buba 200 years after. But yeah, so in truth, we need to be able to catch ourselves because all these things, I personally think they cumulatively contribute to what is now the mental health situation that a lot of people, the gloom that our generation can carry so easily. I think it contributes to it. And when you associate with people, you see, like, I think it's important to associate with people in other places, other phases of life. I think in community you are protected, in community you are healed, in good communities. That's why it's good to connect with people genuinely, not for comparison, not for just to have people to journey with. I think it's super essential because you go further with people, and from connecting with people, you sort of see how everybody's unique and everybody's doing their own thing. You're not connecting with people so that when they're doing their thing, you see, look at this person doing my own. Where's my own? And it's so important because, like our generation, we are all following each other on social media, but according to PLOS medicine, in 2015, loneliness increases the mortality rate by 25%, which is similar to taking like 15 cigarettes per day. Do you know how crazy that is? Like science, for instance, science says that connecting with people rewires the brain for resilience and joy. It makes so much sense. A good example is, do you know how connected people that are in the army are? Like people that go to war, soldiers, and there's a camaraderie they have that helps them to achieve their objectives, which is to stay alive after they say shoot. and that is essential. In the world we live in today, people don't really prioritize friends, people don't prioritize connecting with people. I've done a terrible job also, and I'm going to fix that. But it's so essential to just remind yourself that you don't just exist for the achievement of goals or the ticking off of objectives. You need to experience life outside of the four walls of milestones and peaks, but the actual day-to-day living that has to do with the experiencing the good, the bad, and be fine with the reality with others, to be there for other people, to celebrate other people's wins genuinely, to compare yourself with yourself and your journey and see how you're getting better and letting that spur you up. Because to be honest, we live in a terrible time, and if we don't call ourselves to order, if we don't sit with ourselves, if we don't speak to ourselves, don't connect with each other, we will be leaving each other in the dark while scrolling the internet. Yeah, it's really sad. And it gets to me because I'm a people person. But when I see like how much not being able to enjoy community does to us as a people, it makes me really sad. And it's the world we live in, but we have to undo it for our own good. So yeah. So I'll conclude on this note. So see what you have first. It helps you to change the lens of how you see yourself and life generally. It helps you to be more optimistic, helps you to be more progressive. When you understand that we are wired uniquely and our parts are different, you have less of a FOMO because you know that your microbiology course and your passion for this and your passion for that would lead you interestingly to opportunities that you would be the perfect person to solve for. Like for instance, currently I'm looking for people that have studied psychology. People that study psychology in Nigeria might not really think that there is a place for them in the world, but I'm looking for those people. Do you get like so? There is that your unique path creates a way for you. But if you don't do that part well, you would just join the general bandwagon. Associating with people improves your state of mind. That's another very important point to put. That's why church is important. Connecting with people with like-minded communities, very essential. Very, very essential. Say no to loneliness today. Call a friend. Call a friend. Very important. To everyone battling one issue or the other, God sees you. I think it's very important. God sees you. Maybe that's why I was led to make this episode. But we need to be fair to ourselves. We need to connect with other people. We need to help ourselves, because if we don't, we would be doing ourselves a disservice, and we also pay the cost of that. And God sees us. That's why He brings people our way, people that we can connect with, people that we appreciate, people that make you smile. He brings this podcast your way. I'm joking, but yes, to be honest, yeah. So I think it's important to take as many takeaways from this as you can and spend time to do the things that help your mental health. Not just your bank account, your mental health. Sleep. You get, go on a walk, watch a movie, live light, forgive somebody. Just try to manage your mental health. Because trust me, there will always be pressure. There will always be pressure. Like, for instance, there's something that I always wanted to do. Like I've said it a couple of times. I like connecting with people, and I love sharing my experience. I love talking with people. And my birthday is coming in a couple of days. Finally clocking 30, and I was like, what's one thing I can do that I would really enjoy for myself? And I landed on doing a session where I just share my entrepreneurial journey with people, sort of like a masterclass business session, just to discuss and share the lessons that I've learned. I'm very impact driven, but I've never really given that its place because of how busy life can be. And now I've decided to do that. It's for my mental health in a strange way. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but yes. And I know I'll be happier for it. I will be happier. Yes, I will be. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to this episode of Divide Podcast. Please follow and share this to 1 or 2 friends that may need it. Remember, this is important for everyone. Till the next episode, I remain your host, Aurelio Ashwinbar. Shalom.